I'm speaking with Season 7 American Idol alum Jason Castro. Now, I had a few people asking me about you because they knew I was doing the interview and they recognized the name, but they couldn't put a name to the face. And all I could say, or all I had to say was, cutie patootie with dreadlocks, and they're like, oh yeah, he was cool.
Usually people don't quite remember the name right away, but they see me and they know me.
So you realize now, for as long as you're in music, you have to keep the dreadlocks.
Yep. Actually, I kind of decided that a long time before this happened. To make a long story short, I had dreads in this band I was playing in. It was like a rock band. I was playing drums, and whenever I quit that band, it was kind of a tough decision, but I decided to go to school, just focus, and I could always pursue music later, but I really felt like I was giving up myself, like I was giving up everything, and so kind of through all that, I made the decision not to cut my hair. So like that was the one thing I was going to keep as long as I was going to still do music, and I wasn't going to cut them until the day I quit, and well, here we are. So
yeah, well, I was just thinking, being 80 with dreadlocks, that could be kind of difficult to maintain that, but I'm sure by the time you reach that point,
totally awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure by the time that you reach that point, there'll be some sort of product or invention to keep those locks intact.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing is free, there's really not a whole lot to it.
Okay, so before Idol, you were a college student at Texas A&M, and you were studying construction science. Now, you really didn't have, a whole lot of experience performing in front of others, so I read, or any formal voice training. So what inspired you to try out for Idol?
A couple of things. First you have to get to the inspiration of singing, because, I wouldn't try out for Idol if I wasn't singing. And I started singing just because I always had a passion for music. But over that last year or two before I tried out for Idol, I just started exploring music and listening to it with a different ear. Up to that point I'd only listened to the drums, really. I was a drummer. I really started listening to songs for the lyrics and the melody, and just kind of fell in love with the power of a song, how you can take words, lyric, and melody, and make people feel like I was feeling when I was driving the car and hear these songs. And so through that is why I started singing to begin with. And Idol was kind of a natural, well, not too natural. I mean, I had to have a lot of encouragement from my family and stuff, but it was kind of an opportunity. It came to town, and I kind of thought I had to try it. What could hurt? Give it a shot, and maybe I'd find the career in music that I've always wanted.
Now, as Idol progressed, and you made it on the show and everything, and you kept realizing that, you weren't getting kicked off the show at all. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, each week it kind of became more of like, oh, maybe this could happen. Because when I started out, like you said, I hadn't had a lot of experience. So it was kind of just like, well, let's see what happens. And with each week that went by, what that really did was build my confidence. And, I started to realize, maybe I can do this. Maybe, maybe I wasn't crazy after all. So I don't know, as it became more reality, I was like, okay. And, I really took things day by day. I was like, if I win, this would be awesome. If I don't win, look where I'm at. This is awesome. So really a win-win for me, all around.
Now, you were the third runner-up on Season 7. How has your life changed since Idol?
Life totally changed. Nothing's the same anymore. It's, the only thing that stays the same is kind of my family and friends. Everything else is different. I'm in a different city every night, play music. I just finished recording the debut album, on a record label. It's just been like a dream of mine since as long as I can remember it. It's just, life's changed, Feels just like it should.
You were able to go on the Idol tour, being a top 10 contestant. Since the Idol tour, do you still keep in contact with any of the other finalists?
Yeah, we can keep up. Everyone, like we've all kind of parted ways since then. We traveled together, so that was fun. But now we're all still traveling, just on different schedules. So, we all keep pretty busy. But we definitely think so, like things like Twitter and Facebook. You can see where people are. And, whenever I see somebody's in town or we're crossing paths, I always like to give a call and see if we can catch dinner or something, or go to a show. So we definitely keep in touch. Made some good friends there.
At what point were you signed onto a record label?
It was actually March 25th of last year, I remember, because it was my birthday.
Oh.
And that was about a year after Idol had happened and everything, or really about 6 months. And I started talking to the label about, 3 months after the tour finished, so like 6 months after Idol.
Mm-hmm.
And, I visited with a couple labels and considered all my options and, really felt like Atlantic Records had what I needed to take my dream and make it come true, with all the tools.
You were the first person I read to actually be an Idol contestant to play an instrument on stage. And now it seems most of the contestants, like this year I've noticed, play an instrument of some sort. Did you feel as if that kind of gave you an advantage over other contestants?
I don't know, I think definitely since nobody had ever done it before, it kind of gave a factor of, oh, you're doing something different,
mm-hmm.
which I think is definitely a benefit, but I think that's